Hi, it's Rachel here. I hope everybody had a great weekend. First, I wanted to thank everybody for their lovely comments and for subscribing. And I have tried to go through and subscribe to anyone who has commented and has a YouTube channel, so that way I can go and have a look at your lovely work. And I thought today I would do a quick roundup of what I did yesterday. I continued on making tags, and I felt like in my first videos I was very messy and confused, so I spent some time yesterday morning and tidying up the mess on my table, and I've found it much easier to work that way in a very organized manner. So I thought I would go through how I did that as well, because maybe some of you become very messy like me and then can't find anything, and everything takes 3 times as long to do. And as we all know, we're all very busy and don't have time to waste. So I also thought I might do a roundup of guidelines that I kind of subconsciously follow when I'm creating things, so that way it might make it easier for whoever wants to try this style of making tags and pockets and envelopes and that sort of thing. And then tomorrow, or maybe late this afternoon if I can, I have some orders to work on. I may try and do some envelopes and maybe some more, just show my process a little bit of making the little journaling sort of cards as well. So just a few other ideas. So I think I'll show you quickly what I did yesterday. I put them in piles, so that way it's faster and I don't have to explain them all the time. So I just made a whole lot of pockets, and some of them I do the little circle out of the top, half circle out of the top, and I just did my usual collaging. I think you saw that one the first day, and maybe that one. No, I did that one yesterday. So what I do when I first start making my book sort of envelope things, sorry, what am I saying? My book page tags or pockets. The first thing is obviously you start with some nice book pages that you really like the font or the type of paper or the color, and so start off with those, and then make sure, if you can, if possible, that they're not separated from each other, so that way it's really easy to glue them. They don't move around so much, and you also don't glue your table. And then the next thing I like to start off with is my next most important thing is my some free domain images that inspire me. So I particularly love paintings as well, or floral designs, as you may have noticed. So what I do is I'll print off a whole lot and I'll keep them in a box. So yesterday I decided to put them all in this little box, and they're all different sizes for different, maybe bigger tags, smaller tags. Maybe I want to make a journaling card out of them, and I just have a whole lot there ready to go, and so I can choose. And then when I come to my whether I want to make a tag, I'll choose one, and then like for this tag here, I chose that one, and then I just pulled out bits and pieces that I thought might go with it. And that's kind of how my brain operates when I'm making things. And also the other thing is, this is a scrapbooking paper, but I also like to have the DigiKit papers as well, because you can print them on a thinner paper and they're easy to tear and they're not quite as bulky. So now I'll show you, these are little sort of side pockets that you put on the side of a page, and so that you can slip things. So here it'll be attached on the bottom and on the side, and I just did a simple Mrs. Cog image on that one, and I think you saw that one the first day. And I did collaging with a little bit of old fabric, and again here I chose the image first, and then I pulled out bits and pieces that I thought might work with it. So that's another floral image. This was a bit of an arty maze paper. I just love those roses, so I did a few things with that piece of scrap paper. And the other thing I forgot to mention the other day was that I like to use fruit shop bags. So I'll show you those fruit shop paper bags. So you tear them up, and then here you can see here, that's a fruit shop paper bag. I'll just show you. I'm sure you can, they're similar all over the world. So that one, and then I think that's a Boucher painting. So I'll just show you, this is my fruit shop bag here. So I just tear it up, and it's really nice and textural, and it's a great colour, and it looks really great when you glue it down with the glue stick. And then also this is just some white butcher's sort of paper, off-white butcher's paper. I think I received some fabric from France the other day in that, and I thought, oh, that's great, I'll keep that because I tear that one up as well and have glued it here and there in some of the tags. So these are the other tags. I think you saw that one the other day. I did a little bit on the back. This one I think I did yesterday. Didn't do anything on the back of that one. See, this is, oh, that's the carta paglia there. And then at the top I just stitched down a little folded piece of grid paper, because I like to change it up a little bit. So here I put a little bit of trim under there. This was fairly simple. I did Ardy Maze, then the image, and then the trim, and I thought that was quite pretty. And then this is a painting, I think it's of Marie Antoinette. And then just I have these little scraps of Ardy Maze paper and little strips from when I had to cut it down, and I just tear them and put them here and there. So, and that's the white butcher's paper, and that's just an old piece of book page, one of the plain pages, and then some grid. That's an eco grid paper that's been recycled, so it has a nice colour. So just go through them quickly because I really did make quite a lot yesterday. So that one I patched a little bit so you can write on the back, and then so you've got the butcher's paper, the fruit bag paper, the fruit shop paper, and an old piece of paper. And it kind of, I like the way it's kind of see-through, and you can see the lovely German font behind. And here's a painting and some different trims at the top. Some I didn't do anything on the back because I you know, I like the font, and then maybe I leave it up to whoever receives the tag to decide what they want to do. That's Florentine paper. So it's really just mixing up all different papers from different sources. Some are old, some are new, some are digikits, some are scrapbooking paper. And you'll find, really, as I mentioned the other day, you will not throw out anything. A little bit of hemp at the top rather than a trim or a lace. Some more trim up here. That one I just left plain. No wonder I was sitting here all day yesterday. I didn't video it because I was really there all day doing these. So that's a little piece of scanned vintage embroidery that I have. I thought that was really pretty with a little bit of lace. Another painting. Oh, I love that painting. That's I think that's a Dutch painter from the 1700s. And then some butterflies. And then those two. So that one I did some paper on the back and then left it with the writing at the front and the images. And then these tags I did, these are ones where I covered the whole front with an image, especially these little tags. It's much easier, and that's just a little piece of scrap paper just folded over and stitched on. And that's a piece that I had two scraps of my glued book pages that I had left over, and I stitched them together. And so I think you saw that the first day. And these Ardy Maze pages are really wonderful, and I love that rose image. That's another stitched one. This is Ardy Maze. This is a piece of ephemera vintage garden paper, and I patched on the back of that one. Ardy Maze paper, just a public domain image. And then these are little William Morris public domain images of his designs, and I thought they were really gorgeous on these little tags. And I put a little strip up there so you don't throw out anything, and then there just to make it more interesting. And then these tiny ones, goodness knows what you'll do with them, but they're cute. And again, these are all with William Morris, and I couldn't put a hole in these, so I just stitched a little bit of trim on top. And then here, super cute. I hope I'm not making anybody feel sick shaking it around. So that's one of those public domain. I think I got it from New York Public Library, public domain seed packet images. This is Ardy Maze. Oh, this is some old music paper. That's really cool. It didn't have any notes on it, so you can write there. So I love that. That's a public domain botanical image. Artie Mays. Just go through quickly. Oh no, that's Ephemera Garden, and this is art. Well, these are all Artie Mays, I think. And sometimes I thought if it's just plain, just put a little bit of interest down below, but don't take away from where people could write as well. Same on that one. That's really gorgeous. Yeah, and then this one like that. And then, so in my next video, I'll probably do some of these. I don't think you saw these embellished, these journaling cards. I really love that one. That's a New York Public Library public domain image. And then this one. So these are printed on cardstock, and then I glued on some old paper on the other side. And that one as well. So I might show how I did those. And then the other thing I have to show is also how I do my little booklets. So just quickly before I end the video, I just wanted to show how I organize myself. Oh, these are some scraps of scrapbooking paper, and I think I'll show what I do with those as well in the next video. So sometimes I do interesting things like this. Sometimes I put papers in. I have a few tags still. I'll do the pockets. So what I did to organize myself a little bit better yesterday was all my prepared pieces I put in a basket, and then as I finished things, I put them in a basket so they weren't flying around. I kept, as mentioned before, all of my little scraps in a basket. I picked up all of my images that were lying around in the table and becoming lost in a little box like this. And then I also pulled out all of my laces and bits of, not all of my laces, but the ones I wanted to use, and some bits of fabric, and I put them in another basket. And then on one side I had my scrapbooking pages, and then I also had my bag full of scraps that I like to pull out of. And then the other thing, so yeah, just maybe be organized like that. I found that I worked much faster yesterday being organized, having everything in little baskets. And then the other thing, when you're doing a collage, my kind of rule that I follow is not to have things that are too centered. So yes, of course, this image is centered, but then I like it because I've got the irregular paper behind. So my kind of rule that I normally follow is I'll put this image, and then I'll have something more collaged on the right, and then something on the left. In this case, I added that little bit of white because I like the contrast with the off-white or the cream sort of color. And that's another thing I'd like to talk about. Like, this is a cream color, so I wouldn't put a similar colored paper. Like, this is really similar, so that's why I had to cover it up a lot. I don't like it all to be blendy. I like a bit of contrast. So rather than putting like a cream color here, I like the white because it stands out. And then like on behind, I would do something darker or lighter. I would never put tone on tone. Well, I try to avoid putting tone on tone because I don't like it. So here again, you can see my normal rule of thumb is to also do odd numbers. Occasionally, like there's 4 elements here. It works to have 4 elements, but usually I will do 3. So I might have my central image, a piece of paper here, and then a piece of paper over here, because I like that. But it's very personal, but that's how that to me is balance. Like here, I did 3, and I really like that. And as I mentioned, I went with a darker tone rather than a lighter tone. And if I had put this behind that, then it kind of would have disappeared, in my opinion. So I put it on top, so you can kind of see it better. So I think I've said everything. Again, here you can see, and it's not, I didn't put this centered. I put it off to the one side because I like it to be off balance. I don't know if I've got any more examples here. Oh, here I put 4, but I like that. I think the 4 works too, because this color, the background of this paper, is similar to this, so it kind of disappears a little bit, so that helps. Let me see if there's anything else. See, this one I did 5. I put a piece over here, and I just like that bit of color there, so I added it in, but then I thought I should carry it over there, and I didn't want to cover up this lovely writing here. So I think that's all for today. I hope to be able to come back this afternoon, but if not, I will be back tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope everybody's doing well and have a great day. Bye.